Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. I'm going to talk about the Digitakt and operating system 1.5, which is really awesome, and I was lucky enough to help test it. So here we go. So the first thing is, let me just throw in a basic beat. Let me do that, those and this guy, there we go. Just something like that. All right, so now I'm going to sample that. So I'm going to go into sample, I'm going to set the main left and right. And now I'm going to set the length, you heard me right, length to 16 steps. So now what I can do is I can just arm this, hit play, and there I have a loop. And now I can listen to this guy. I'm just going to hit function yes, right? Little subtle bug that was fixed here, and thank you for fixing this, Electron. But when you had a MIDI track active, preview was not working. Now it does, which is great. There's a loop toggle, so I can hit left on the cursor, and then I can play this, so I can listen to it. All right, so I'm just going to clear out track, sorry about that. I'm going to clear out track 8. I'm going to save this sample, and I'm going to assign it to track 8. And now, let me set that to loop. And we'll also do a trig length of 16. So it's just one bar. So let me do that. All right, there we go. And we will put a single trigger on it. So that way we should be able to hear that. Let me just mute everything except for that track. And then what you're listening to is just that one track playing. And now the other thing I want to show is if I go into filter and I go to the filter page, so you have the main filter, and then I have the bass width filter. You'll notice we have sample rate reduction. And not only sample rate reduction, but we have pre and post filter. So this is filtered. So you'll notice I'm not hearing anything high because it's being within that filter. But now if I go to post, you can hear a lot more high frequencies because it's applied after it's filtered, which is really sweet. So anyway, let's leave that for now. I'll come back to that later, but that's a really cool enhancement. The next thing is if I hit function source, you'll see that we now have new machines to play samples. So we have one shot, which is what we use right now, same features. Then there's one called WERP. It's W-E-R-P, and that is short for weird warp. It's very hard to say, but it's also a very cool mode. The next one is repitch, and that allows you to change it changes the pitch with the tempo so that your loop stays, and I'll show an example of that. And then slice, which is actually my favorite one, so we'll get to that too. So what I'm going to do is we're going to set this to one of these new play modes, so let's do warp. And this breaks things down to segments. You can do 1/16, you can do 1/8, you can do 1/32. And so let's do 30-second and hear what this sounds like. So you just hear these little clicks. And if you go to the page, you'll see it's just playing the first segment of this. What I'm going to do is change the loop. It's kind of fun. And I'll change this to 2 bars. See if I can, I'm going to mess with the pitch and see if I can find something interesting. It's kind of interesting. I wonder if I can try to get this to be a little bit interesting of a loop. Keep that there. Just does something. See, there we go. There we go. That's much better. All right, let's keep that one and let's keep moving. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that track, paste it to track 7, and then we're going to pick a different mode. So I just need to trigger this guy and set his trig length to 16. Should sound similar. Okay, so now we're going to pick the next mode. So we're going to go in and do repitch and set this to 1 bar, clear out my filter. And it should sound the same. Here's what repitch does. So let me go in and change, and you can try this for yourself too. So I'm gonna do halftime, which is nice because now you just set it from 1 bar to 2 bars. So I just did that right there. Now you've got basically a half time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my DAW. You can't see it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to be changing the tempo and listen to what happens. So it's actually repitching based on the tempo. So the loop still stays perfect all the way around, which is different than if you just change the pitch by itself, which is cool. So let me go back to the regular tempo here that I had. Okay. And let's mess with this guy a little bit just to make him sound interesting. I'm going to add some bitrate reduction. And let me see if I can put some, also some SR. Maybe going a little too crazy on the distortion and stuff, but and let me bring the level down and bring up the distortion. Yeah, something in there. Let me see if I can get this, do some high pitch. Maybe that's interesting. Let me see. Let me try to dial it in. Yeah, I'll keep it right in there. I'll add some reverb maybe. There we go. All right, so I'll keep that for now. Let's hear it with the other one. Yeah, it's a little bit different, but hey, it's working. Just gotta click something here, make sure that's still rolling. Okay, so now let's go in and I'm gonna take the next one. So let's take this, copy, and get this guy set up. And that's gonna be the same until I mess with it. So track, we're doing the same thing, 16, and then I'm gonna set this guy to slice. And for slice, I'm actually going to put in 16 trigs, and I'm going to hit play. So we're hearing that. Let me clear this out a little bit. Ooh, got some serious... But now if I go to the source page, you can see I've got 16 trigs just playing this one slice, right? When you're in the source page, if I hit yes, I can go in and do linear. So let me set this to a bigger grid. And let me do that again. Go to 16. So that's basically what you do is, so it has, let me stop for a second. So the grid, you can't move where the slices are. It's a grid, which is actually kind of cool because it's just mathematically where it's going to slice, and it makes it really easy to do sample chains. Like you saw that I could do a perfect sample in a loop, and then now you just put that into the slices and you can do some cool stuff. So I'm going to mess with that a little bit. So let me show, again, when you're in the source page and you hit yes, you'll get this little helper that pops up, and it'll take whatever trig patterns that you have, and you can either create linear locks that'll play, you know, from 1 to 16 if your grid is at 16, or you can create random locks. So if I hit random, this is my favorite, is that this thing can go around and start playing anything, and then while it's playing you can press yes and yes and it'll pick a new set. So now, because these are separate trigs, we can go in and let's just put a filter envelope on them, get some movement. Let me just go ahead and put this on dotted quarter, get some of that, get a little bit of this. Okay, not too much, there we go. Okay, so then you can just find another beat. So if I bring this in, like this kick, so I'll do random again. I'll do it one more time. Like that. So you could say, all right, I like that. It's kind of subtle. And let's mess with the sample rate. Something like that. Maybe a little bit of reverb. And let's go to the main trig and let's set the probability down to 50%. There we go. Something like that. Maybe make it a little louder. So let's get some. Put some impression on there. Bring in the hat. So this is just using that same sample, just in different ways. Let me turn this off for a second. This one's a little too loud. Let me bring him down. Too much fuzz. I want to bring him, actually I want to put him on a high pass. Just to have him. Something like that. All right. So now what I'm going to finish with is we're going to take that whole weird thing, right? And we're going to end it where we began, which is we're just going to make a quick loop out of that. So what I can do is the same thing. It's already set up. I do function no to clear that buffer out. And then now I've already got it set up for 1 bar sample. So I can just press yes and hit play. Okay, so that made a mono sample out of all that. And then now what I can do is just clear out track 5. So let me go ahead and do that. And actually, sorry, I need to hit that. And we're going to save this guy and then map him to 5, turn 5 back on, turn these guys off for a second, and let's just hear what it sounds like. Okay, so now it's a mono sample version of that, which is still pretty cool. So let's put him back through the slice. So let's go ahead and take some slices of that. And let's set that to, let's do 8 slices. And let's go ahead and put in, we'll put in the 16 tregs again. Or let's do a different pattern, you know, let's do something a little more, like let's do this. And then let's go ahead and do this, and let's do random. Okay. That'll sound good with delay, actually. Okay. And of course, you can come into this stuff when it's rolling. We can go ahead and get some control all going. And of course, the first thing you want to play with is this. Some filter in here. Ooh, I like that. It's nice. All right. I had a little moment there, actually sounded kind of cool for the first time ever when I'm recording a video. But anyway, so let's stop it right there. So I think I went through everything. I hope you enjoy this. This is such a cool update, and it's so cool that you can resample. I mean, I think that's like the secret sauce of the Digitakt, is that whatever you make, you can go back and resample and just keep warping it and running it through things. Anyway, it's super fun. Thank you very much. Take it easy and have a great time. Bye.